okay, so that's going on kind of behind the scenes. And as this is happening on December 31st of 2018, it was announced that after 15 years, B2K was going to reunite for the Millennium Tour in 2019. And you were actually heavily involved in that whole situation, right?
Yeah, everyone likes to take my credit for that, but when I came back from China, I had already had the offer. It started in 2016. I came home. Gary Goodry, sorry he don't like his name out there, but Gary gave me a bag, and I said, listen, you advance me some bread, I'm gonna come from China and I'm gonna get this shit done. And it all, I've been willing this together for a long time, and also, you want to show love, you know what I'm saying? Make people like, yo, Raz is cool. Like a lot of people thought they're like that. I had problems. I was going through a major fight with my family, and now it's public. And it's not my fault that it's public. And you know what I'm saying? Now I'm grown up into an adult. I mean, that's a lot to juggle. You know what I mean? But what better than bring a peace officer in? You know what I'm saying? Because like O said, we didn't break this up. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the group kind of got broke up by higher powers on top of our friction. That was, you know what I mean? That's a lot. But if we should have stayed together, we would be one of the, we still are one of the top groups of this time, but we would still have been, working, and life would be a lot different for all of us.
Like how hard? I mean, because I'm sure that wasn't the only time that B2K talked about getting back together. There was 15 years that passed.
Those conversations were always there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know. It would have to been timing, but also I feel it needed to come from a place of love, right? And like I said, growing up, I always wanted, that brother, yearn for that brotherhood and yearn to have my own group to be able to, to push the human race forward and bring joy to families around the world. It had to come from a place of love, and it came from me. And it's something that's funny because Omarion, we showed up to the photo shoot, and he's like, man, you sure been talking about this for a long time. In the back of my mind, like, nah, buddy, like I've been willing this together. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take a step back. They even called me and said, Raz, I know you want to get your credit and stuff like this, but I look up and I see everybody else's name but me. But the promoter, Raz was the one who was the first point of contact, who structured the deal the way we did. But, I wanted this thing to happen so bad, I just moved out the way because I needed God to get the glory. It was so many people that was crying with tears of joy. It was great. It was therapeutic for me as well. You know what I mean? Because when you have an audience like that, why would you want to alienate the people that actually really care about you? There's people that genuinely care about my well-being that's never met me. And I think that's phenomenal. So it was a pleasure to be able to have that experience with everybody.
Well, the tour was announced on December 31st, 2018, the Millennium Tour, which on top of B2K being the headliners, there's also Pretty Ricky, Chingy, Yin Yang Twins, Mario, Bobby V, Lloyd. Am I forgetting anybody?
Good question.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everyone. So you had a nice lineup of...
Mario.
Oh, Mario.
Yeah, Mario.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Mario, sorry. I forgot to mention.
Mario's lit.
That's an important one, which we'll talk about later.
Yep.
Okay,
sure.
So you got this really dope lineup, and the Millennium Tour is announced. And then on March 8th, 2019, the first B2K show in Pittsburgh happened. How did that feel to get on stage with these guys for the first time in 15 or maybe even 16 years?
It was crazy because we started vibing in rehearsals. Like, we started, joking around and, you know what I mean? But O had the way he was moving, in his mind, he was like, he was probably already planning on going on the next tour. I'm sure he had a lot of demands, you know what I'm saying? So there was still some slight friction there about arguing how many songs we're going to perform with B2K Records and this. So it was business. Everybody came back for business. You know what I'm saying? Me, it was more about love, but everybody else, it just came back for business. I remember that night. I almost didn't perform that night because, I wound up negotiating and getting more money that night. You know what I'm saying? I felt like right before I went on stage, I feel like I got the short end of the stick and I put this thing together. So to all you people out there, make sure you take care, like Snoop said, get your money off the top. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you want to take care of Fizz. Tell me this all the time. He said, take care of yourself. But, as a bigger man, I needed that tour to happen. So I took a major sacrifice.
Well, as this tour is starting to happen, what the public doesn't know was there's the whole Fizz, Omarion, Apryl Jones thing, which happened before the tour started.
Yep.
So in the very beginning, was there like this tension? Were the two of them not really talking, or?
It was interesting because I got the word, I think I was still in China when I actually knew, before the world knew, that they had actually been hooking up. And I was like, damn, ooh, that could be a monkey wrench, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, O's been through some stuff. That boy, that's a strong dude right there. He's been through some stuff, you know what I mean? But back to your previous question, it felt really good to be back on the stage with the guys, you know what I'm saying? Because we started to vibe out, you know what I mean? We started to really vibe out in that synergy. It's just crazy because we're we let 15 years go by. So of course we ain't moving exactly like we was, but you know, I was still in China performing, so I was still loose, so I was able to come with it. Book killed it. We all did our thing. It was dope. But going into all that, like you said, the world didn't know that there was so much friction going behind there. Like even during that time, you know, I've been working on myself to grow mentally and get myself in a place of peace, of love and forgiveness. And you know, during that time I was even trying to I guess we were trying to put me and Chris together so we can have a conversation for closure, but I didn't like how it was coming to me. It was more like, you know, surprised on me versus me kind of knowing what's going on. Right? It was more of, here, sign this code of conduct and make sure you don't say anything about Chris Stokes and this and that. And I'm come to find out I'm the only one that signed that. Right. So there was some friction going on behind closed doors with me dealing with that, because I feel that we all had our own roads back to B2K, right? Whether it's Boog, whether it's Fizz, we all had a road back to B2K and whatever we had to jump over to get to the space. Okay, so it was definitely some internal friction amongst the group prior to us getting on that stage. It would have been nice if I wanted us to go off to an island and the four of us go sit and chill, vibe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe after that, then we bring our families in and like really, you know, but that wasn't the case. Amari didn't want to be in harmony like that. But me and Amari still had a great relationship at that time. So on that tour, we actually shared rooms most of the tour.